Hello everyone, welcome back to my 35th episode. I still can't believe how quick we're getting through all these, to be honest with you, but we're getting there. I hope you've all had a good week. As I said in my last podcast, I was taking a trip with the family down to the south coast in the week just gone. And that's how I'm going to open today's show. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, because I know I've made mention in the past about, as a family, we may look to make a move cross country down to the south coast. Having gone down, having had a little look, it was only a little look, it was only one full day, but I gotta say, I fell in love with the place. I really did. It was absolutely beautiful. The only problem, and it's quite a big problem, it's incredibly hilly. Now, I've kind of shied away from sort of explaining the area that we're looking at going to, but I'll explain in a little while why I'm going to actually mention the area. But the place we're looking at was Plymouth, down on the south coast. And when I say it's hilly, it might as well be full of mountain ranges. The area that we stayed in, the house that we stayed in, which I have to say, the house was absolutely gorgeous. It was beautiful. It wasn't easy to get to at all. It was sort of up these spiral stairs at the back of the house to actually get into the part we were staying in. Knew that anyway. It was all part and parcel of what was there for us to read before booking. But funnily enough, I actually didn't find it too difficult getting up those stairs. Yeah, I can't work out why. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy and it did hurt. But actually, in the grand scheme, I thought it was going to be a lot tougher. But honestly, it's like mountain ranges in that area. It was really, really hilly. There is definitely, when we are looking at houses, without a doubt, research needs to be done to try and figure out if there's any parts of the city that are less hilly. Because being completely honest, there is no way my mobility scooter is going to cope with the kind of inclines that it would need to cope with should we look at houses in those areas. So again, it might well be looking at houses outside of those areas with transport links to get in, that sort of thing. But what I will say, the city itself, we went to the shopping centre, I think it's the main shopping centre, called Drake Circus. Oh, it's lovely. Absolutely gorgeous, really clean, nice shops. And I will say the people, we didn't really have that much to do with people, but the very, very small section that we saw, they seemed lovely. Such nice people. And just very quickly, just a real basic story. I'm sat in my wheelchair, and Lisa's pushing me in the shopping centre, and we're coming towards the exit doors. There's a young lad, probably going to say between 15 and 16 years old, and he's in front, he's going to go out the doors. Actually, he went out of his way to hold one door open and lean across to try and hold the second door open as well, so that Lisa could push me straight out. And again, naturally, we said thank you, and he was very, very polite. Very polite. It was really, really nice to see, and to have that. So yeah, I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. So on first thoughts, absolutely fantastic, really nice. Seems at this point very friendly. And I've got to say this as well. On the first proper day we were there, Lisa took some of the kids, all her kids, into Primark. Yes, that's always something that's going to take a lot of time. So me, Dad, and my brother Richard, we stood outside and we stood around. Now, I had my hoodie on promoting this podcast, and we just sort of stood there. I mean, I'm holding my wheelchair in case I need to sit down and whatever else. Now, when we got back to the house that we were staying in, I just did a little check just to see how my downloads were going for the day. Now, what I've got to say is, previous to that, I'd never had any downloads from Plymouth. By the end of that day, I'd hit 119 downloads from Plymouth. Now, there's got to be a reason for that. I don't for one second think that that's just pot luck. Maybe people had seen my jumper and then jumped on and had a listen. So if you are one of those people and you're listening in, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you jumping on and having a listen. I will try and keep you all as entertained as possible. I am going to do lots and lots of talking about my MS, how I'm handling that sort of thing, but I'm also going to try and be fun. If you've got any questions, by all means nip across to my website. There's a section on there. Pop a question down and I will do the best I can to answer that question on any upcoming shows. As it stands at the moment, shows are released on Mondays, but now that I am not currently working, I've said it previously and I will say it to anybody new listening, I am seriously considering going to 2 shows a week, but that depends on what you all want to hear. If you want to hear my voice twice a week, I'm not sure I'd want to be fair, but if you want to, I'm more than happy to do so. But yeah, I mean, that's really sort of how the trip down went. I mean, what I've got to mention, the weather was atrocious. It was awful. I believe, excuse me if I get the name wrong, but I believe it was called Storm Noah. Yeah, I mean, the rain, the wind was absolutely unreal. It was crazy. But you know what, from my point of view, it didn't really dampen things down. Get it? Didn't dampen things down? No? Yes? Me? On my own? But yeah, no, it didn't make for a terrible time. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and as I say, one of the reasons we went down was really to sort of have a bit of a look around the area and get some thought processes on where we could potentially look at houses. And at least we now know we've got to research some flatter areas, because I'm going to say selfish, but I don't mean selfish if that makes any sense to anyone. I don't want to go somewhere and be trapped because I can't get around. I mean, I wouldn't expect anyone really that has never been to that area to just go there and start walking up and down these hills and whatever. So to do it in a mobility scooter that travels at 4 miles an hour, it just isn't going to happen. It hasn't got the power to get up and to safely work its way down. A bit of water, a bit of ice. Yeah, actually, it might be quite amusing for my TikTok channel, mightn't it? Yeah, because that could be fun for people to watch. Wouldn't be fun for me to actually be involved in, but for everyone else it could be entertaining. But yeah, I mean that's how the trip went. It was fantastic. It was really, really nice to spend time with a family. Um, enjoyed that massively. In fact, that's an understatement. It was brilliant. And again, I have to say, to those that rented out the house to us, it was beautiful. Absolutely loved it. The view from the back of the house, absolutely stunning. I'd be lying if I said I didn't fall in love with it, because I did. It was lovely, absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I mean, there's that. It made it nice. But yeah, I mean that's as far as I'm going to go with that for the time being. So thank you to anyone that downloaded new, that maybe saw my jumper, and had a little listen. I'll do what I can. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the most entertaining person in the world, but I try my best. For those of you that are watching on YouTube, you will notice that behind me the green screen has gone. The reason for that, and I'm going to be brutally honest, it wasn't worth the effort. Every time I come out to come and record, it was taking me at least an hour just to get the green screen to a reasonable position where it wasn't showing too much through the pictures and whatever else, and getting the lighting correct and everything else. It just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it. It's not worth the effort, because in all fairness, for those looking, you can see I've got my MS Society t-shirt with my 2 medals up there from the 2 walks I've done. The other side of me, I've got I can't remember what it's called, certificate. I've got the certificate there from our walk we did in London. And then I've got white walls and the green door. You know what? I'm not here to look pretty behind me. I'm here to talk about my life with MS and my life as it is, and try and be entertaining. And looking at fancy pictures behind me, personally I don't see as that is that necessary, because I'm going to be totally honest, because I have to be. I've actually fallen out of love a little bit with coming out and doing these podcasts because of that green screen. All of the effort that it takes to get that just reasonable is frustrating. It makes me quite angry actually at times, which I don't like. I'm here to get my story out. I'm here to talk to you all about how I'm coping, what I'm doing with this absolutely evil condition. And at the moment, I'm going to say this condition is evil. When we was down south, I made a point for the couple of days worth walking around. I really slogged my guts out. I know I shouldn't have done, but I thought, why not have a try? I had my wheelchair, and I did use my wheelchair quite a bit, but I also did as much walking as I could handle. Yesterday, that kind of all came home to roost a little bit, because I was in absolute agony. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel okay at all. I actually had a fall getting out of bed yesterday. I got out of bed, went to take a step forward, and it felt like my legs, and I mean legs, not just one of them, were not there. So I actually fell, and I did sort of bash my head on the bottom of the wardrobe a little bit. And thankfully Lisa heard, She came up, she helped me up and whatever else. But that wasn't nice at all. So yeah, it took it out. I mean, again, this is where I have to learn. No matter how I feel, I could feel incredible. I've got to start being sensible. I've got to start using my brain a little bit and start thinking, it's all well and good feeling this good, but actually, if I overdo it, that feeling good is going to become gone very fast. So yeah, I suffered from that. And on top of that, I've actually noticed something over the last 2 days since yesterday and today, and it's happened actually a few times, more so when I'm feeling a little bit stressed over stuff. I'll explain in a minute what I'm feeling stressed over. But I go to speak, nothing comes out, and I don't quite know exactly how to explain it. It's like I want to get the words out. I know I'm trying to talk, and it literally stays like it for maybe a second, maybe 2 seconds tops. But you can't speak. Literally can't speak. And actually, it's been quite frightening the last couple of days, because that is totally new. I've not had that before. So I don't quite understand what's going on with it. I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on it. I'm going to get myself back to a good level where I'm trying not to get too stressed. But yeah, that's one that if it continues for too long, I'm going to have to get in touch with my MS nurse and try and have a conversation, because it's actually really not good at all. And yeah, it's frightening me. The last couple of days I've been a little bit scared of that. Hopefully it's something and nothing, and it's just where I'm a little bit tired and run down. But we'll see. In terms of the reason for me feeling a bit stressed, it's no secret. I've made it very, very aware to everyone that I'm no longer working. Say 20 years I've been in the security industry. 7 years and 10-11 months I've been in my current job. That job is no longer there. I'm not doing that job now. So I've been putting myself about, applying for a lot of different jobs. I'm very, very, very aware that in terms of sort of frontline security work, that's done. That's finished. I'm never going to be doing that again. But in terms of doing things like CCTV monitoring and that sort of stuff, I can do that, not a problem. But yeah, I mean, over the last few days, got to be 25 to 30 jobs I've applied for. Some work from home jobs, some actually working out with real people. So we'll have to see what happens. Hopefully something comes up, because yeah, I'm going to be straight. Even at this early stage, I am really, really, really worrying about being out of work. It's scaring the life out of me. I don't like it. I want to work. I know I'm capable of working. I know on a physical sense, moving around and stuff is not necessarily something I can do. Doesn't mean I can't do anything. I'm capable. I'm there. I'm available, and it's what I want to do. I want to be out in the working world. What I've got to say, I've written down little bits and pieces for me to talk about on the show today, and one of the bits I've put down is about, it's time for me to find ways of turning these negatives around a little bit, because as I say, the being out of work stuff is the biggest negative I've got right now, and the thought of it is absolutely, it's killing me. It's genuinely killing me, but I've got to start turning that into something that I can deal with. Now, there's ways and means of doing that, and this podcast is one of them. And what I will say, as I've mentioned, that green screen really took the love away a bit from the podcast. Sitting here now without that green screen, not having to worry about, oh, is it breaking up or whatever else, I'm loving it again. I'm really enjoying it. I'm sitting here and I'm enjoying getting thoughts out, explaining what's going on. Yeah, I'm happy to be doing this. So that's a positive. We should be getting close to a point where the weather is turning in a good way. So I am planning on getting back out in the garden, because the winter's taken its toll on the garden a little bit. I think there's bits and pieces that I need to put back together, and there's some plants that need to be replaced. I'm going to replace them. Yep, you heard it here first, folks. There's some plants that need to be replaced, and I'm going to replace them. Because even if we move, let's be totally straight, we're not going to be moved before, at best, Christmas. At best. So I'm going to enjoy my garden while I got it. And if that means I've got to plant more stuff, I'm going to plant more stuff. Because I can. Yep. I said it. Because I can. But yeah, I mean, there's other things that I need to do as well. I'm going to be continuing to fight to find work, because I need to be in the working world. Can't help that, it's just who I am. I'm going to start working a lot harder with my social media channels and the website, because certainly the social media channels over the last probably month, I've really slowed down on that. And again, I think a lot of that's to do with all the issues I've been dealing with, and the stress of work. Well, now I know where I am with that. It's time to start getting back involved a little bit, because the MS community online is absolutely superb. And I've said this previously, it is superb. There is always somebody there to help, somebody to talk to, even if you just need to get stuff off your chest. It's there. You can do it. So in all fairness, I need to get back. I need to get back to that, because again, I enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it. And again, not everything on there is going to be MS based. I'm going to have a laugh. I'm going to do some of these little challengey things that people do. Anything like that. Anything like that. I've started doing live streaming on Twitch, streaming Fortnite, because actually I quite enjoy playing Fortnite. It gives me something to concentrate on. It gives me something to look at, to sort of try and switch my brain off again from the negatives, and it gives me something to focus on. And actually streaming it, you know, again, it's a bit of fun. Nothing major. I'm no professional. I'm nothing major. I'm just a person that enjoys doing something. That's all it is. And yeah, it's a computer game. Just a bit of fun. That's all it is. It's just a bit of fun. Well, at the moment, that's what I need in life, is a bit of fun. I need a bit of enjoyment. I need a bit of happy and a bit of calm. And I'm going to make that happen. Because quite honestly, at the moment, stress is giving me an absolute kicking. It really is. It's giving me a kicking. Whether that be pains, whether that, again, the water drop on the top of my head, whether it be the foot drop. There is just so many different things at the moment that are causing big issues. I've got to start sort of turning that round a little bit, and the only person that can do that is me. I'm going to make it happen. I said that a few times today, and I'm going to make it happen. But I think that will do for today. I'm going to consider doing a second podcast this week. By all means, jump onto the website. Let me know if you want me to do more than one podcast a week, because I'm happy to do so. At some point in the very near future, I'd like to be able to learn to talk to other people on these podcasts as well. That may take me a bit of time because I'm not very technology minded. I'm just me. I'm just average. As you can see or hear or whatever else, I'm just average. But I'll try my best. Well, I hope you all have a really good week, and I very much look forward to speaking to you all again soon. Speak soon. Bye bye.